You're watching Conference USA Softball on ESPN+. Welcome to beautiful Denton, Texas, as it's an in-state, in-week matchup of 27-win teams. The Tarleton State Texans make the short trip up to Denton to face the North Texas Mean Green. Alongside Zach Babb, I'm Kyle Yeomans here from Lovelace Stadium. And Zach, these are two teams very much so ramping up in successful seasons for that final weekend prior to postseason play.
Yeah, both these teams have 27 wins coming into this game. They're two teams fighting. North Texas in Conference USA looking for that top seed right now in the West Division. On the other side of things for Tarleton, they're in the WAC looking to get as high as they can in the standings here as well as this season kind of comes to an end here.
Two teams, two coaching staffs very much so familiar with each other inside the state of Texas. Ashley Peters will be in the circle for the North Texas Mean Green, and she's had a phenomenal season so far. This is a North Texas ball club that really has a limitation in the terms of arms that they are able to go to. Peters being one of just two members in the bullpen for Coach Rodney DeLong in his fourth season, but she's had a fantastic campaign.
Yeah, 2.85 ERA. That's across 118 innings pitched. Her strikeout to walk ratio 115 to 22. She's one of the key cogs in what is a very impressive, albeit kind of small, pitching staff for Rodney DeLong.
And they'll have their hands full on the other side of this Tarleton Texans lineup. And really the Texans have it highlighted by the three-hole hitter, Georgia Capel. Not full strength in terms of the middle of the lineup, but she's all the strength they really need.
Oh yeah, 394 batting average. She's got 36 runs scored, 52 hits this year, 10 doubles, 13 home runs, and 41 RBIs so far this season, a 780 slugging percentage as well. The offense kind of starts and ends with her.
Both teams coming in with 27 wins on the campaign. It has been very much so successful for Coach DeLong as he looks for his third Conference USA regular season title. Mark Kumpian for the Texans in his sixth season has made a successful transition from the D2 ranks up to Division I, and has been a fun time in Stephenville for the Texans. They'll look to continue that on the road at Lovelace Stadium. First pitch on the outside corner. Ashley Peters has us underway, and it's 0-1 to the leadoff hitter in Morgan Medford. Medford hitting .344 on the campaign from the left-hand side. No homers, 7 RBIs on her campaign so far, and there's a strike to make it 0-2. Peters, the southpaw, in the circle. Like Babb mentioned a minute ago, one of just two arms for Coach DeLong to roll with, but the junior out of Rock Island, Illinois, and the transfer from Purdue has really stepped in and taken advantage of the extra innings, the extra opportunity. This is a pitching staff that relied heavily on Hope Troutwine, who now plays for the Oklahoma Sooners during her career. And since her transfer, it's really been the combination of Ashley Peters and Skylar Savage as she gets the first out via the strikeout to get us underway.
Yeah, that is strikeout number 116 for her on the year. Again, a lot of strikeouts, averages nearly 1 per inning, and does not issue a lot of walks whatsoever.
Coach DeLong talking about his pitching staff doesn't really have that strikeout pitch. Both Savage and Peters, mostly ground ball pitchers. They'll give up the occasional fly ball from here to there, but really it's been Peters that has worked into the strikeout pitch as at least from the start of Conference USA play. The 0-1 to Desario, swung on and missed, 0-2. She's getting ahead quickly in the count here. Desario hitting in that 2-hole, 282 batter with 3 homers and 12 RBIs, and the aforementioned Georgia Capel awaits on deck. 0-2 on its way, well outside.
Peters so far really working kind of away and down a little bit, trying to get these early Tarleton hitters to chase, and got one via the punch out already.
1-2, trying to get Desario to chase for that second punch out. Appeared in a team best 27 games in 12 starts last year for Purdue. This is appearance number 30 on her season, 14 wins and just 5 losses for Peters. And that one swung on and missed, back-to-back Ks. And there's out number 2 as Peters is off to a hot start.
Working early for her here, and she's getting those early swings and misses. Nice movement on that pitch to be able to retire Desario.
And here is Capel, one of the stats leaders, not only on this Texans roster, but all time for the Tarleton Texans. Right fielder and a senior, .394 batting average, and she is a threat every time she steps in the box, and she takes the first pitch for strike 1. Leads the team and leads the WAC with 13 home runs this season. Also leads all D1 reclassifying players in home runs this season, as she has made the step up along with this Texans program to the Division I level, and really hasn't taken a step back at all.
It's been kind of the foundation that's been laid here at Tarleton. A lot of players, even when they were a Division II squad last year, that had that Division I potential, if you will, and they've really taken advantage of it here to start off their Division I tenure.
Coach Kumpion really priding himself in the fact that he has had players like that scattered throughout his roster that were at the Division II level, but were very much so ready to make that D1 jump. And of course, Capel is one of those. There are a couple that are unavailable for Coach Kumpion today, and of course we'll talk about that later on. Capel pops that one up and over the first base dugout to stay alive in this at-bat.
We talked about her career numbers: 263 hits, 235 games played, those 204 RBIs, 63 home runs as well. One of 7 team records that she holds for this Tarleton State team.
An unbelievable career in Stephenville. She has her eyes on the prize in terms of the WAC. Has her eyes on that one way outside, and Peters gets a chase. She strikes out the side in order. 1, 2, 3, go the Texans in the first. North Texas will have their first swing at it when we come back with more on ESPN.
Frisco, Texas. Ford Center at the Star is being transformed to your home for exciting D1 college basketball. 26 basketball games over 5 days in one location. Be there as we crown the 2022 Conference USA champions with bids to the NCAA tournament. For tickets, visit your Conference USA team box office or go to conferenceusa.com/hoops at the Star. You won't want to miss Hoops at the Star.
Hi folks, Chris Fowler here, Dos Equis' new pour-by-pour commentator. Hey, a job's a job. Now, onto the pour. Look at it run. The ice-cold, refreshing cerveza rushes toward the 10 fluid ounce line. There's no stopping this crisp and delicious cerveza now. It's at the 11, 11.5, 11.6. Will it reach 12? There it is, 12 fluid ounces. Unbelievable. I'm crying. I'm actually crying right now. Dos Equis, a most interesting beer.
Denton, Texas native Tristan Bridges in the circle for Tarleton State, a product of Geyer High School, and she was an All-American Scholar athlete last year, All-Academic WAC and WAC Pitcher of the Week throughout this season now for Tarleton State. Now she's in the circle with a 10-9 record to her total.
He had 26 appearances, 22 starts in 127 1/3 inning. Record would like to be better at 10-9, but you can't complain with a 3.41 ERA.
27th appearance on the season and her 23rd start, over 127 innings pitched, and now she has the task of going up against this very much so loaded North Texas lineup, and we'll get to that full lineup after this opening out. But you look at the strikeout to walk ratio, it's not as heavily favored as Ashley Peters was on the other side for North Texas, but still she lights up the scoreboard. In those 127 innings, she does have 84 strikeouts to her total.
Yeah, so efficient, makes it count. Of course, like you said, Kyle, you'd want that strikeout to walk ratio to be a little bit lower, but still a good strikeout pitcher here.
Denton Geyer just about 5 miles down the road from where we are at the moment. Of course, the Texans making the trip from Stephenville, about 2 hours of a drive. Fantastic facilities out there in Stephenville, Texas. Since making the jump to Division I a couple seasons ago, this Texans ball club and the entire athletic department really being put on the map.
You get to go out there quite a bit, don't you?
Every once in a while. I love making the trip out to Stephenville. Great people, great food. Don't get me started on the food. I'll talk about it all day on ESPN. We've got a long way to go. We're still in the first inning. I need to at least save that until the 6th. Lexi Cobb leading things off, by the way, for North Texas. .355 batting average at the top of Rodney DeLong's order. And the 2-2 just misses outside. Not a bad pitch from Bridges. Changeup just misses on the outside half. And it fills the count up at 3-2. Cobb, just a sophomore out of Kansas. Got to play in her home state most recently. She rips this one down the right field line, but it hooks its way foul. North Texas taking 2 of 3 up in Lawrence from the Kansas Jayhawks out of the Big 12 this past weekend. Another Big 12 team that they have had their success against. Took 2 of 3 against Texas Tech earlier in the campaign. And they did lose to Oklahoma last week, the #1 team in the nation. But really played them tough all the way up until the final inning. And Cobb works a walk to lead things off.
Not a lot of shame in losing to Oklahoma. That is one really good softball team if you have not gotten to see them play.
Finally suffered their first loss as we take a look at the North Texas lineup. Sierra Simon steps in from the right-hand side. It's Simon, then Christensen, followed by Gamble. Donahoe, then Rainey, Evans, Smith, and Walker. Big secondary lead from Cobb over at first base, but she retreats back to the bag as that one went in the dirt. Pruitt blocked it up behind the dish. That one right back up the middle. She was going on the pitch, and Cobb doubled up over at first base. It's a double play. 1-3, the line out, and there's 2 down, nobody on for North Texas.
Yeah, it's just one of your unfortunate hits that you'll see sometimes. That one was kind of popped up softly right towards the pitcher here. As we'll look at the replay, it was basically right to her, able to make the grab, and then an easy turn to throw back to first for the double play.
Empties the bases for Kaylee Christensen, who steps in from the right-hand side, and the changeup misses outside. Kaylee Young, our home plate umpire. Bubba Ewald is over at first base. And then Greg Chargaloff is over at third. Our Conference USA umpires in this one. It's the 1-0. Catches. Doesn't catch the lower half. 2 balls and no strike to Christensen. 40th game for the sophomore this season, and a .333 batting clip. Bridges does a nice job to get back in it. .73 degrees and overcast for this one in Denton. Bit muggy at times throughout the afternoon, but overall very pleasant Wednesday for some softball up north of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex as Bridges evens the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Toes the rubber, rocks and deals, catches the outside corner for strike 3. It's a 3-up, 3-down inning despite an opening walk. Tristan Bridges in her hometown doing work early on for the Texans. Can Tarleton State strike first when they come to bat in the top of the 2nd right after this?
We love our new apartment.
There's too much pressure in the bathroom.
Good luck with the future, huh?
Oh, I've travelled all over, telling folks they could save by bundling home and car insurance.
Oh, I want ice cream.
Seriously?
I'm gonna drive to get my ice cream.
No, you're not. Play with this.
No, I'm driving.
Really? Drinking and driving? How old are you?
I'm a big boy.
Black
is to unfold.
Blackness
in full
and at home.
In the landscape.
North Texas defensively with the highest fielding percentage in Conference USA. And there's the starting lineup. On the defensive end of things, no score early on in this one. North Texas did manage a base runner on a leadoff walk. However, a double play and then a backwards K as Tristan Bridges works a 3-up, 3-down first. Ashley Peters perfect through her first frame in the circle as well. She struck out the side in order, and she starts things off with Paige Nunez from the right-handed side, the designated player stepping in for the Texans. And it starts things off again with the strike, 0-1.
Nunez hasn't played too much. It's just her 17th appearance of the season and her 10th start, but she's making it count when she does come to the dish, batting .300.
A lot of times it is about that efficiency. Just her 17th appearance out of Belton, Texas, down in the Super Syntex region. And she takes a cut and a miss. Quick work of Nunez. 4 straight strikeouts to start the game for Ashley Peters, and there's one down in a second.
You cannot ask for a better start if you're Rodney DeLong from Ashley Peters. Just total command over these Tarleton batters right now, and no one able to really get any sort of contact on the ball. All we've really seen is a couple fouls here and there.
First pitch on the way, misses inside to Jermaine, but this is an Ashley Peters in the circle that would like to see a rebound. She did not have the best weekend in Lawrence, went 4 1/3, gave up 6 runs in that first matchup against the Jayhawks. Was able to rebound with a clean inning and 2/3 in game 2, actually earned the win in that second ball game, but then she gave up 4 runs in a loss in the series finale against Kansas. So the fact that Peters is back in the circle, definitely a welcome sight. No such thing as having a long memory if you're in Coach Rodney DeLong's pitching staff this season for North Texas.
Not at all. You need a really short memory if you're on that staff, and Peters so far looking like she has a short memory today with these 4 early punch-outs.
Gets ahead again. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Austin Jermaine. Both J.C. Cook and Janie Worthington out for the year for North Texas. Just 2 arms to work with, and one of them is rolling at the moment. Does get the strikeout, but the drop third strike allows Jermaine to reach. It's strikeout number 5 on the evening already. 5 straight, but Tarleton State has their first base runner. I guess it's possible now that Peters could strike out every hitter along the way, but Tarleton still has a base runner. She's done so at least the first time through the order. Tristan Troll gets her first opportunity. And she lays down a bunt. No strikeout here. Throw to second for the force out is in time. No sacrifice as Jermaine is gunned down by Peters. And the putout puts 2 on the board. Runner still at first in the form of Troll.
That was great awareness there by Peters. Just jumps right up to the ball, turns and throws it as quickly as she could over to second. Very alert play by the pitcher there.
Now that drop third strike looming. Should Pruitt find her way aboard, as the inning would already be over But now runner on first, 2 down, and the first pitch misses just outside. In talking with Coach DeLong, it's one of the things he tries to preach to his pitching staff is get ahead early in the count. He wants to be efficient, and right now that is exactly what Peters has been able to do. She really has had this Tarleton lineup on their heels here in these first couple innings.
Yeah, even if she's throwing a first pitch ball, it's not staying much more than a 1-0 count. She's going right back to it, getting more strikes, and really making this Tarleton lineup have to work to get on base.
Pruitt, one of the many underclassmen in this Tarleton State lineup, just a sophomore, 200 batting average this season. Puts it down the right field line, and it'll work its way foul. No chance for Rainey Smith nor Gamble to get there in time. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Tarleton backstop. Peters delivers. That one hit hard right back up the middle. It's off the glove of Smith and into right field. Going from first to third is Troll, and there will be runners on the corners with 2 down. Pruitt sends a liner straight at Smith. Too hot to handle on the backhand.
Yeah, this one was just hit hard right just in front of the second baseman, and that's always a tough one to handle when it's coming at you at that angle and then just kind of rolls up over and into the outfield.
They will call that a hit. No chance for Smith to get there in time. At least that ball was hit hard enough by Pruitt that it certainly deserved the hit designation. Now Texans have something brewing here with 2 down in the top of the second.
Good chance. Don't have a lot of chances to get runs across on this North Texas team, especially with how Peters is starting this game. An early run here would be huge for the Texans.
Mackenzie Peterson, the junior, who has struggled a little bit at times this season, just a 133 batting average. She has a great opportunity, the transfer out of New Mexico, to put a run on the board. And she takes a hefty cut at that one, comes up empty. And it's 0-1. Hasn't had a hit since the ACU series back on the 16th of April. She had back-to-back games against the Wildcats where she did have a base knock in 3 appearances. Saw limited action against Stephen F. Austin last weekend as she puts that one into the screen, and it's quickly 0-2. Peters, who has struggled as of late, has given up at least 4 runs in 4 of her last 5 outings, trying to close out an early opportunity for the Texans here. Misses well outside as she tried to get Peterson to chase. Hallie Santignan is awaiting on deck should the inning continue. One-two on the way. Just inside, not a bad pitch. We were waiting on the call. It looked like Peters thought it was strike 3. Pruitt with a 111 batting average with runners in scoring position, and she checks her swing, gets plucked on the inside, and the inning will continue. Bases now loaded for Santignan at the bottom of this order.
Big chance here for Tarleton. Try and take advantage of this bases loaded opportunity, and there you see that ball just coming a little too tight inside and hitting Peterson. That'll put her on first, and now bases loaded here for the Texans.
Peterson to first. Pruitt is at second. Troll over at third. First pitch, little dribbler sent to third. Tough play. It's in time. Donahoe fields it cleanly and throws a strike to Gamble at the bag. And North Texas gets out of the jam. Tarleton loads the bases with 2 outs, but still no score here from Lovelace.
Meet Renee, bank manager and mother. But when she gets on her bike, she becomes Rebel Renee. Rebel Renee isn't about greasing some palms to get things done. And she rides with Geico because she'd never rebel against great service. Geico, savings and service for both your sides.
I want ice cream.
Seriously?
I'm gonna drive to get my ice cream.
No, you're not. Play with this.
No, I'm driving.
Really? Drinking and driving? How old are you?
I'm a big boy.
We're scientists, we're engineers, we dance, but not so well. Windows 11 makes things easier. One of the biggest features I use is multiple desktops. I go from being a student to being a gamer. Being a mentor is one of the biggest dreams we have, and Windows 11 helps us do it.
Tarleton, in their second season in the WAC Conference, chose to finish 4th in the Southwest Division's preseason poll. It has been a much more anticipated jump, and they have really been phenomenal here in this campaign under Mark Kumpian. And you look at 27 wins and what they've done in conference play with 12 wins in the WAC. Big reason for that are some of those individuals scattered throughout that defensive alignment.
Yeah, this has been a really impressive jump. You don't see a lot of success normally when you make that jump from D2 to D1 so quickly, but Tarleton's done an excellent job of adjusting.
Texans leave the bases loaded in the top half of the second inning. Now they'll face 4, 5, 6 in the North Texas order. Kaylee Gamble leading things off for the Mean Green out of Oklahoma City, and she has been on an absolute tear as of late for Coach DeLong and company. The 0-1 barely misses outside, and it evens things up at 1-1. Donahoe on deck, followed by Rainey, 4, 5, 6 in that North Texas order. Up against Tristan Bridges, the Denton native, pitching in her hometown, and she gets a swing and a miss here. Gamble, the Conference USA Player of the Week. A 360 batting average now in her 40th start for the Mean Green. 13 homers, 42 RBIs. Count evens back up at 2. Currently on a 14-game hitting streak. And she'll have to wait for another at-bat to stretch it to 15 as she's retired on strike. Second strikeout early on here for Bridges, and that brings up Celine Donahoe. You don't see that a whole lot. 24 strikeouts for Gamble this season. She has almost double the RBIs that she has strikeouts in this North Texas lineup. Donahoe, the junior, 244 batting average. Appearance number 19 on the season. She has slowly crept up the order for Coach DeLong. A couple weekends ago against fellow WAC opponent Stephen F. Austin, she was the hero with a 2-run blast, her second of the season. She was batting in the 9-hole during that ball game and has since elevated all the way up into the 5 spot, splitting up the Twin Towers of Kaylee Gamble and Molly Rainey, two of the most powerful hitters in Conference USA. And she rips one down the left field line, but it's foul.
It's a little too out in front of that one as she made some decent contact, but just in front of it a little too much.
Early on, Bridges doing a fantastic job of changing speed. Fastball, drop ball, changeup. She's really mixing her pitches well, and it's kept North Texas off balance. 1-2, catches the outside corner, drop third strike, doesn't matter. Second straight strikeout here in the inning, third overall. And now Molly Rainey will step in with 2 down on the board. Rainey out of Ada, Oklahoma, the redshirt sophomore. Had 24 starts last year for North Texas, had 4 homers on the year. She has already surpassed that mark with 6 long balls and 22 RBIs here on this campaign. Such a dangerous middle of this lineup for North Texas. Hitters 3 through 7 all have at least 6 homers, with the exception of Donahoe right in the middle there in the 5 spot.
Power's become a key, kind of part of the identity, if you will, of this North Texas team, especially this year.
Good pitching and the long ball. It's a very exciting brand of softball to watch. And it wins a lot of games, too, as the 1-1 drops low in the dirt. And Rainey is ahead in the count. Rainey with a couple of multi-hit games on the road against the Jayhawks. 2 hits in the opener, had 2 RBIs in that ball game as well, and a win over Kansas. And then she followed that up with another multi-hit game. She's got 1 here into left center field with 2 down. Continues her hot streak. And North Texas has a base runner with 2 down in the frame.
Nice job just getting out in front of that pitch. Dropped right into the gap between the left fielder and center fielder, and that's an easy base hit there for Molly Rainey.
We mentioned how tough it is to get through this middle of the order clean. Bridges has done everything right so far, but still, even with the runner on, still happen to think that this is an opportunity with as dangerous as Taylor Evans is as she steps in for her first try.
278 average. 30 hits this year, 20 RBIs as well.
Looking for her first base hit since the La Tech series back on the 15th. 5 straight games without a hit. Went 0 for 2 in that finale against the Lady Texters. 0 for 2 again against Oklahoma, and then she was 0 for 9 in the series against the Jayhawks. 1-1 on the way. Check swing. Said she held up, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Pretty out of the ordinary to see Evans struggle the way that she has been. Has been a staple for Coach DeLong in these last couple of seasons. The only senior in the starting lineup for the Mean Green. 2-1, fouled that one straight back and over the screen. And we're even at 2. You'd happen to think that at least here in the final week of the regular season, it is crucial to get her back on the hot streak, entering the Conference USA tournament that will be hosted here at Lovelace Stadium.
Yeah, all about momentum, and the more momentum you can have, obviously, going into that conference tournament, the better this team will feel, and the better that Rodney DeLong will feel as well.
Mean Green, we mentioned back-to-back Conference USA champions. They won the regular season title in 2019 and again in 2021. Of course, the 2020 season canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but they have not won a tournament title in the conference, and they are looking to achieve that this year. 3-2 well outside. Evans works a 2-out walk. On to second goes Molly Rainey, and Michaela Smith will have a chance for some hacks. Mentioned the walk to strikeout ratio earlier with Tristan Bridges, already her 2nd walk. She does have 3 strikeouts. You'd have to think you've got to get that under control and not allow any extra opportunities for this North Texas team to make you pay. First pitch on the way to Smith is a called strike, and Bridges right back in it. Both teams doing a lot of winning as of late in their respective conferences, respective divisions even at one point in time. Kupion has won 188 games in 6 seasons with the Texans. That one's fouled off by Smith. And on the other side, DeLong, 119 games had been won in his 4 seasons with North Texas, up over 260 during his 8-year head coaching career. One-two on its way, well outside, gloved by Pruitt. The at-bat continues. Ashlyn Walker awaits on deck as Bridges tries to get out of a 2-out jam. Toes from the left side. Pitch on the way. Off the handle. Lofted in the middle of this infield, and Medford reels it in. North Texas threatens with a couple base runners toward the back half of the inning, but still no score. As we head to the third, Tarleton will have the top of the order due up when we come back.
I want ice cream.
Seriously?
I'm gonna drive to get my ice cream.
No, you're not. Play with this.
No, I'm driving.
Really? Drinking and driving? How old are you?
I'm a big boy.
The BK $5 Your Way meal is here to make your choice easy and so tasty. Go straight to the Double Whopper Jr. with piping hot small fries, 4-piece crispy nuggets, and a refreshing small drink. Can you believe you get all this for only $5? The $5 Your Way meal, only at Burger King.
Black. Black is not to be told.
It is to unfold.
Blackness in full and at home.
And at home.
In the landscape.
Mentioned it early on, sixth season for Coach Kumpion with the Tarleton State Texans. 188 and 107 his mark in Stephenville. He's done a fantastic job of making that transition a couple years ago to the Division I ranks and really not skipping a step in the process.
No, not at all. He's been very successful making the jump. You know, he brought in a foundation of players that were ready for Division I competition.
Back to the top of the order as Morgan Medford steps in. She struck out on 4 pitches in her first at-bat against Peters. Peters with 4 strikeouts to start the ball game, made it 5, but a base runner extended the inning in the second. And she struck out the first 5 hitters in this Tarleton lineup the first time around. And then after that, a little bit of some rally, I guess you could say, from Tarleton. Still unable to get on the board, but they did end up loading the bases and left them loaded in the second. They'll have the leadoff runner on as Medford reaches via the infield single. First base hit of the ball game for the Texans, or second base hit of the ball game, I should say. And a runner at first with no one down. Pruitt had a base hit on a one-hopper to the second baseman Smith back in that second inning, and now an infield single from Medford. The 2 base knocks for the Texans in this one. North Texas with just the 1 base hit to this point. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Mean Green. (1-0). Desario tries to lay it down. Gives an effort at it, but comes up empty to even the count. Freshman with a .282 batting average, 44 games played this season, 43 of which have been starts. And she fouls that one off the end of the bat. 3 homers, 12 RBIs for the freshman. Georgia Capel lingering on deck. You'd have to think for the freshman on that left-handed batter's box, it's basically get on now with 2 strikes now that the sacrifice bunt opportunity is out the window. 2-2. Called strike 3 on the inner half.
Ashley Peters.
Desario doesn't believe the call. It's the second time she's been retired on strikes.
Tell her a look of frustration as she walks away from that batter's box, and 6th strikeout of the day for Ashley Peters.
And a big retiring of that hitter, too, to allow only one base runner to be on for Capel, who sends that one spinning foul.
I don't know if I've ever seen something spin like that before.
That might have been the most impressive change of direction that I've seen in quite some time. I mean, that was fully headed into fair play.
Off the bat, I thought that was going to be an infield hit until that thing just decided to come spinning right back towards us.
It absolutely played in the favor, at least for now, for North Texas. And it definitely will play in favor because of the fielder's choice. Medford gunned down at second. No chance for Simon to make the throw over to first, as Capel keeps the inning alive by getting there safely. But there's 2 down. You'd have to think if that did not roll foul, there'd be runners at first and second right now.
Oh, yeah.
Now batting number 5.
How quickly things can turn in a literal sense.
Quite literally.
That one poked into the right side, and Nunez sends it foul. 0-1. Got all those sports cliches out of the way, but that one was figuratively, not so much, literally now turning. I don't think you could have thrown it down on the ground and had it change direction better. And Peters, despite giving up a couple base hits here in these last couple of innings, has really settled in and continues to get ahead of these Tarleton hitters. Big swing and a miss on the outside. 1-2.
Off-speed pitch down and away that time. Just kind of struggled to catch up to it.
And she stays alive on this one. That was a desperation hack. That one came up in on the hands, but Nunez had already committed. Just needed to get some kind of bat on the softball. Peters up over 40 pitches now in her outing here in the third. 1-2. And again, Nunez tough to take down.
Good defensive swing that time, just trying to make some sort of contact. Keep this at-bat alive.
One, two. Hit the right side, and that'll be foul as well. Seen this becoming a theme, becoming a trend from this Tarleton lineup. They'll get down in the count, but they will not go down easily, at least after the first 5 hitters in the order the first time through. Since then, it has been tough at bat after tough at bat against Peters. 1-2 again, hard hit, right back up the middle, gloved by the lefty, and she tosses it to first in time. Tarleton leaves a runner stranded. 1 base hit on the inning, but still no score. We're through 2.5. North Texas sending the 9-1-2 hitters due up to the plate right after this.
Ford Center at the Star is being transformed to your home for exciting D1 college basketball. 26 basketball games over 5 days in one location. Be there as we crown the 2022 Conference USA champions with bids to the NCAA tournament. For tickets, visit your Conference USA team box office or go to conferenceusa.com/hoopsatthestar. You won't want to miss Hoops at the Star.
On June 23, 1972, Title IX was signed into law, and it reads, "No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity, receiving federal financial assistance." Happy 50th anniversary, Title IX. Thank you for giving little girls like me and big kids like Conference USA student athletes the opportunity to dream big.
At
the University of North Texas.
It's the people who make our community special.
The students.
The faculty. The staff.
The alumni.
And Scrappy.
With over 230 degree options.
And more students choosing UNT than ever before.
UNT proudly celebrates 130 years.
On to the top of the third we go. North Texas and Tarleton in a midweek in-state matchup. Still scoreless as we go 9-1-2 in the North Texas order. Alongside Zach Babb, I'm Kyle Yeomans, and Zach, it really has been the pitching staffs shining early on. Tristan Bridges, the Denton, Texas native, Ashley Peters in the circle for the Mean Green, both of which have been trading opportunities for the opposing lineup, but neither has been able to cash in.
Yeah, so far it's been pretty much a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel, if you want to call it that. Peters really started off hot, again striking out the first 5 batters, and then since then for Bridges, kind of responding in kind, not with strikeouts, but certainly keeping any big threats away from this Mean Green lineup right now.
Ashlyn Walker on the bottom half of the lineup, rounding out that bottom half, I should say. One of a slew of sophomores in the order, 6 to be exact out of the 9 in the batting lineup for Coach DeLong, and she is the backstop who is fantastic from a defensive standpoint. And, of course, has her bat in the lineup with a .256 batting average. Just 1 homer, 5 RBIs. Really works as a second leadoff hitter. So having her at the plate here, really setting the top of the order with up for success, could go a long way. Lexi Cobb on deck, .355 batting average. Sierra Simon to follow. She has 5 homers to her total. And then it's to that powerful middle of the lineup for the Mean Green. That one hit nicely, lofted into straightaway center, just above the dive from Medford, who went fully extended, but couldn't get there in time, and it's a lofted single into shallow center field.
And just enough behind this swing to get it into the outfield. And a great effort there by the shortstop, Medford, just unable to make the play. And a base hit for Ashlyn Walker.
So best case scenario to start things off here for the Mean Green. Runner on, nobody out, and a full arsenal of hitters on the way for Coach DeLong. Starting with Lexi Cobb out of that left-handed batter's box. First pitch on the way, and she'll send that one in the left center field. Back-to-back base knocks for the Mean Green here in the third.
Lexi Cobb in with a single.
First pitch swinging that time, and Cobb able to slap it the other way into that gap there around left center, and very quickly the Mean Green have 2 on.
2 on for Simon stepping in. Simon 0 for 1 to her total so far. Sent a liner, or at least a chopper, I should say, right back up the middle, where it was fielded by Bridges and thrown over to first for the out. But now she has some base runners to work with. Cobb 1 for 1 now. She worked a leadoff walk back in the first inning. She's over back at first base, both of which have speed on the base paths. Walker 2 for 2 in her stolen bases this season. Cobb 6 for 8. And then you have Simon at the plate, 15 for 16. She's the speediest out of anybody in that North Texas lineup. Really does give Coach DeLong a ton of options to be able to work with here. Could lay down the bunt, put 2 in scoring position, and even still see Simon reach. Puts a swing on that one, up the middle, turn, throw to third is there to get the lead runner just by a hair. Coming in from second was Walker, but she's cut down just as she gets to the bag. So same situation, but just 1 down.
All things considered, that's probably the best play to be made, as that one was hit on a line. Base runner having to avoid it, and then kind of throwing off her back foot was the shortstop, Medford, just able to barely get it into third in time.
Great stretch from Jermaine at third base. Had to go fully extended with the left arm to reel it in. Really no chance for a turn of two there because Medford, and that's kind of what led to the awkward turn at shortstop, looked at second base, and already on the bag almost was Cobb. There was just no way to get a fielder's choice there. Then you turn around, you actually get the lead runner. Works out well for Tarleton, and it still sets up an opportunity for a double play. But you got to get through Kaylee Christensen and then Kaylee Gamble to follow. And a quick visit as Pruitt trots out to the circle, has a conversation with Tristan Bridges, the lefty, down in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
That bullpen starting to work a little bit as well here for Tarleton.
2 righties, both warming in the Texans' pen. That one lofted foul. Looked like Christensen just missed that one. It looked like Bridges left it just a hair up, and Christensen put a good swing on it, but was just a bit off.
And just a little too late on that swing, but had the power behind it necessary. Just couldn't exactly square up to it.
Christensen with 10 homers, Gamble with 13. The 2 hitters in this North Texas lineup in double figures of long balls. And that is exactly what Bridges has to work through. She's doing a great job at the moment. Evens the count back up at 2 apiece. This would be a huge out for the junior lefty. And we will go a long way to stifle a couple early base runners in the inning. That one hit in on the hands. Throw the third, lead runner gunned down again. Cobb taken down on the fielder's choice. And the Texans have worked it to 2 outs.
That's just another alert throw there by the shortstop Medford, able to gun it over to third to get the lead runner. And well, of course, you'd love the double play, kind of the situation not lending itself to one here for Tarleton, but they're doing a good job of still getting these lead runners to keep everything at bay for the Mean Green.
So one last obstacle to get through to keep this game scoreless, and it's Kaylee Gamble. 14-game hitting streak on the line at the moment. And what a season she's having for Coach Rodney DeLong. Another chance here to make a massive impact. She struck out swinging in her first at-bat. And now from the left side, goes toe-to-toe with Tristan Bridges. Changeup misses it well outside at just 41 miles per hour. That one lofted in there, trying to change the speed on Gamble. Big swing and a miss. Now a runner caught in between second and third, and the out made on the base paths. A mistake from North Texas. Sierra Simon gunned down, and North Texas sees their threat come to an end, and we're going to remain scoreless.
After 3 complete, your score remains North Texas nothing and Tarleton State.
On to the 4th we go from Denton.
I want ice cream.
Seriously?
I'm gonna drive to get my ice cream.
No, you're not. Play with this.
No, I'm driving.
Really? Drinking and driving? How old are you?
I'm a big boy.
Phillies, Mets, division rivals aim to make a statement on Sunday Night Baseball.
Lovelace Stadium in Denton, Texas. North Texas and Tarleton battling it out here on a Wednesday evening. Glad you're with us here on ESPN. What a phenomenal facility here just off of Interstate 35 in Denton. And right now we are scoreless. North Texas had runners at first and second with nobody out. And Tristan Bridges worked through the jam, and a base running mistake was the one that capped it off.
Yeah, I think that last base running mistake was one that she thought it was the third strike and not the second strike, and so she just started to make her way off towards the dugout. And I think you saw from Rodney DeLong hold up, hey, that was only the second strike.
Got to have the communication, got to have the count right. And of course, a lesson that everyone will learn at some point along the way, and everybody makes a mistake with it every now and again, but this one possibly costing North Texas some runs. Does, however, ensure that Kaylee Gamble gets a fresh count as she'll lead things off in the bottom half of the fourth. Tarleton, at the moment, has the middle of their lineup at the dish as Jermaine, Troll, and Pruitt, the three that really provided some struggles for Ashley Peters their first time around, step in, and the chopper sent right back up the middle. Throw on the run from Simon is in time for out number one.
The ball hit right to Simon that time. Great job charging over to pick that up on the run, make the throw on the run, and get the first out here of the inning.
Both teams ramping up for the final regular season weekend. North Texas has 2 weekends prior to their Conference USA tournament and conference play, and then Tarleton only has the Lamar Series coming up this weekend, and then they've got a doubleheader against Houston Baptist, so they'll see their WAC play in, but then they'll have a pair of games on May 7th, Saturday doubleheader in Stephenville.
We talked earlier too, Kyle, here about the, trying to finish strong, finish with momentum, and Tarleton kind of has that going right now. They've won 7 of their last 9 games, had a 6-game win streak going earlier with a couple sweeps over Sam Houston and ACU. They're certainly playing at the level they want to heading into the tournament.
They had won 7 of their last 9 coming into this one. However, both of those losses came in a series against Stephen F. Austin. They went 2 of 3 against the Jacks in their last time out. That one on the road in Nacogdoches, as this one's hit high and well, deep into center, but Cobb goes all the way back to the warning track, and she makes the grab for the second out of the inning. Troll gave it a ride, but not far enough, and there's 2 down.
I just got underneath it just a little bit, allowed that to hang up just enough. Wind maybe pushing it a little, not too bad, but Cobb able to settle under it and make the catch.
That brings up Miranda Pruitt. Pruitt filling in behind the plate as of late. Has been a couple big hitters missing out of this Tarleton lineup entering the weekend. One of it which involving Brady Rowland, a sophomore out of Colbert, Oklahoma, in concussion protocol at the moment. A couple big names unavailable for Coach moving into the weekend. Oh, 2 on the way, well outside, as again, Peters trying to get a chase. Tarleton doing a much better job ever since the first inning and a half of really making things tough on Peters and not allowing for the easy strikeout.
A lot of times you'll see teams adjust on that second time through the order. And so far, Tarleton, while they haven't really been able to generate any offense, are certainly making it difficult on Peters to get out of these innings. Something you hope, if you're Tarleton, can pay dividends in the later frames.
That one hit high in the air, deep in the right field, going all the way back to the wall is Rainey. She's looking up and it's gone. Miranda Pruitt filling in very nicely for Brady Rowland. And she has a solo bomb to give the Texans the lead on the road.
It's an excellent swing on this ball. Jumping out just a little behind on it, but that thing carried and kept going and kept going. Wondered if the wind may have caught it just a little bit. That wind's moving left to right in the outfield, not very much, but still. Great swing and first run of the game for either team.
The backstops have been a fantastic bat in the lineup for this Texans ball club, and Pruitt now with her 7th homer of the year, RBI number 12 in just 29 appearances and 19 starts. Rowland, on the other hand, with 5 homers in 29. So Pruitt, as the backup catcher, actually has more production from a power standpoint than Rowland does, and she continues to grow that gap with the Oppo home run here in the 4th. That one comes inside, and it hits Peterson, 2nd straight at bat. Then Mackenzie Peterson's been plucked by an inside pitch from Peters.
Now batting left fielder number 6, Hallie St. Tignan.
Hallie St. Tignan now stepping in. She's 0 for 1 with a ground out. This bottom half of the lineup providing Peters with some early troubles through the first half of this ball game. And the 0-1 misses outside. .250 batting average, her 36th appearance on the season for St. Tignan. Only one of 2 seniors along with Georgia Capel in this order, as there's a soft dribbler sent to the left side, gobbled up by Donahoe, and the throw to first is there. However, the Texans strike for first blood. It took till the 4th inning, but Miranda Pruitt going to the opposite field for her 6th homer of the year, and the Texans have a 1-run lead on the road against North Texas.
The Mean Green set the bat here in the bottom of the 4th. It's time now. You please take a look at the video board for today.
PTI, I need the PDF, COB, AKA EOD. What's the ETA?
ASAP, FYI. See my IM?
TLDR.
What?
Too long, didn't read.
We don't need any more acronyms, but we could all use more ways to save.
PNX, YOLO!
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
The BK $5 Your Way meal is here to make your choice easy and so tasty. Go straight to the Double Whopper Jr. with piping hot small fries, 4-piece crispy nuggets, and a refreshing small drink. Can you believe you get all this for only $5? The $5 Your Way meal, only at Burger King.
Kaylee Gamble leading things off for North Texas here in the bottom half of the 4th as we're halfway through this one, and not, a little bit past the halfway point in Conference USA play. It has been Kaylee Gamble's world, and everybody just living in it, Zach Babb.
Yeah, pretty much. 404 batting average. This has been lights out on the base paths. Power as well. Just has been a ball fun to watch.
Was up at the plate in the bottom half of the third with runners at first and second. Then a base running mistake from Sierra Simon. Looked like a miscommunication on the count. Ended the frame, and it gives a fresh chance here for Gamble to step back in against Tristan Bridges. Her only official at-bat of the afternoon so far. A strikeout back in the second. That led off the frame for the Mean Green there, and it was back-to-back Ks for Bridges at that point. She has not struck out a North Texas hitter since then. Celine Donahoe, the most recent strikeout victim, and she's on deck here in the bottom of the fourth. 2-0 on the way, fouled back. And again, Gamble working on a 14-game hitting streak. All the way back to the start of the month, she has found her way aboard in every single contest since April 1st against UTEP. Takes that one outside. Now a hitter's count at 3-1.
See if she has the green light here.
Had the green light, elected not to use it, and it catches the inner half to to move the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Bridges with a fantastic pitch on the inner half, and Gamble frozen at the moment. Takes a cut at this full count pitch. You have to like the junior's mentality in Bridges in the circle. She has not been afraid to attack these hitters at any point in this ball game. Three-2, foul back into the screen.
Good job by Gamble just to stay alive with these last couple of pitches. Making contact, trying to at least foul it off, get another pitch to see.
And she does it again here. Just to put into perspective what Tristan Bridges has been able to do against this North Texas lineup, since the start of the month of March, North Texas has been shut out 3 times. Once in conference play against Florida Atlantic back on March 18th. The other 2 times have been against Big 12 opponents, Texas Tech and then Oklahoma last week in their midweek matchup, as Gamble watches that one inside, and it's a called third strike for the first out in the inning. Coach DeLong and the North Texas faithful cannot believe it. Second time Gamble has been retired via the strikeout, and it's the 4th K for Tristan Bridges.
Yeah, that came in, and it looked like Gamble was kind of crowding the plate there, but it almost hit her, and I think she was shocked that it was called a strike, but a great pitch there to kind of paint that inside corner.
That brings up Celine Donahoe, who takes this one outside for ball 1. A huge strikeout nonetheless for Bridges, now up to 4 on the outing. And now you'd have to think that that Gamble 14-game hitting streak is a bit in jeopardy. Donahoe has a base hit of her own here. Not hit very well, but it was hit over the head of Medford at short and into left center. And it's a 1-out base runner for North Texas.
Now batting for the Mean Green, right fielder number 11, Molly Rainey.
Second at bat for Molly Rainey. Still a very much so dangerous part of this North Texas lineup. 6 homers, 22 RBIs. She's 1 for 1 with a single back in the second. First pitch on the way. First pitch swinging as she sends it into the first base dugout. Rainey with 4 hits in 10 at-bats against the Kansas Jayhawks this past weekend. Had a fantastic series that included 3 RBIs against the Big 12 foe. There's a soft dribbler. Throw over to second is just in time. Got a bit dicey over at the bag as Medford almost collided with Donahoe, fighting for a bit of the same real estate, but the fielder's choice puts 2 outs on the board.
Yeah, this is just a slow roller right to the pitcher, able to turn and fire, and again, kind of almost a collision there at second base as the throw was just in front of the runner Donahoe, but able to get the lead runner is Tarleton, and once again, kind of keeping things in check on the base paths for Tarleton against North Texas.
First pitch swinging down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Taylor Evans puts it in the corner. They're going to send the runner from first. No throw. We're tied up at 1. RBI double for Taylor Evans puts North Texas on the board with 2 down here in the 4th, and they answer right back.
Perfect swing here, just sends this ball rocketing into the outfield, and it finds that left corner. Ronnie DeLong all the way waving the runner home, and North Texas with a nice swing of the bat from Taylor Evans has tied this thing up.
Molly Rainey running on contact with 2 down. Had no hesitation at any point along the way. Scoring from first on the double. And Evans with 21 RBIs now on the season. And a very important one here in this midweek matchup. Michaela Smith now has a chance with the go-ahead run in scoring position. And the changeup at the lower half makes it 2 balls and no strikes. Ashlyn Walker on deck. Smith at the plate right now, 2 homers and 13 RBIs to her total in her 40 games played this season, her sophomore campaign. And now she rips one down the third base line, and it works foul by about 1.5 feet. Would have been a North Texas lead.
Just a little too far out in front of that one. It was a great swing, but just a little too early in that one. Barely by 1 foot, maybe less, on the left side of that chalk.
It's a long strike that gets Tristan Bridges back in the running. And she catches the outside corner there for strike 2. Go-ahead run at second. Both teams finding their first run of the ball game here in the 4th inning. It was a solo shot in the top half for the Texans from Miranda Pruitt, and then an RBI double from Taylor Evans with 2 down here in this half of the inning. As Michaela Smith stays alive at a 2-2 count. Bridges ready. Rocks and deals. And that one skips in. Count now goes full. Evans not the most fleet of foot over at second base, but she does have 3 stolen bases on the season. Have to think Coach DeLong have a decision to make on anything hit to the outfield. 3-2 on its way. Misses outside. Ball 4. And Ashlyn Walker will step in with runners at first and second, 2 down.
Now batting for the Mean Green.
Walker was productive in her first at bat. Getting on via this, or getting on with a single, eventually advancing over to second. Now it looks like we're going to have a mound visit, maybe a pitching change here for Tarleton.
It's not the head coach out there in Mark Kumpion. Alex Cordell making the trip out to the circle, having a conversation. Cordell herself, a national champion, won a national championship with West Texas A&M at the Division II level just a season ago. A fantastic player, now on the staff for Coach Kumpion and company. And just a quick chat with the junior southpaw in the circle as we're back and ready to go. all of the action in the Texans bullpen has since subsided. They had 2 righties warming early on, and since then both have sat down. Worked a shutout all the way up into this 4th inning through 3 2/3. Now trying to close out the frame at an even 1-1 ball game. First pitch on the way to Walker, called strike. Walker singled, like you mentioned a couple moments ago, Bab, back in the 3rd inning. North Texas with 1 run on 5 hits, no errors to their total. The Texans 1 run on 3 hits, no errors to this point. 0-1 just outside, not a bad spot from Bridges. One misses. The Denton, Texas native, the Geyer product in the circle. Working against the Saginaw product, not too far from where we are at the same time. Went to Eaton High School in Ashland Walker. 2-1. Now 3 balls and 1 strike with runners at first and second. Walker almost certainly would have the green light in this situation.
Yeah, 2 on, 2 outs. You're looking for something that you can take a hack at right now.
Especially with Lexi Cobb on deck. 3-1, takes a swing at it, lofts it into left field. In comes the charging left fielder, Santignan. And she can't get there in time. It's a foul ball.
It's a great effort by Santignan to go over there and come within a couple feet of making that play, but just a little too far in front of her. And that will keep Walker alive.
Runners will be going on the pitch with a full count, 2 down, and a force at every bag. Payoff pitch on the way, and she reached out at it. Might have been ball 4 in the opposite batter's box. The call has been there on that outside corner throughout. You'd have to think maybe that's in the mind of Walker in that right-handed batter's box.
Yeah, it was very much a defensive swing, just reaching out for that one to get a piece of it.
Luckily for her, the sophomore, she does get another chance. 3-2 again. Went back to the outside corner. Bridges has been peppering that half of the plate.
Almost the same defensive swing that time from Walker again. Just to try and get a piece of that and keep the at-bat alive.
Mean Green with a run in the inning already. Bridges trying to close the door. That door remains just a tad bit open as Walker continues to battle.
3rd straight foul ball. So Walker doing a good job of staying in this at bat.
Pitch number 8 of the at bat on the way, and we'll have to take it to 9.
Great at bat here from Walker just to fight and stay alive in this AB.
Bridges now up over 75 hurls here in the outing. Having to labor a little bit here in the 4th. Had 2 down early on. North Texas has rallied back. 3-2 again. Well outside, ball 4. Fantastic walk. Worked by Ashlyn Walker, and the bases are loaded as Lexi Cobb steps in.
That was just a great AB that time from Ashlyn Walker. Very patient, fouling off the balls that were just right there, kind of on the edge of the strike zone, trying to stay alive, and then takes that last pitch for the walk.
That's one of those fantastic battles back and forth. Bridges did everything she needed to get a positive result, and instead it's a positive result for the Mean Green. Lexi Cobb drops it into right field. An RBI single puts North Texas up 2-1.
You know, you Lexi Cobb was dangerous when she steps into the batter's box, and she immediately found a pitch she could swing at. Not a lot of power behind it, but didn't need it. Drops it into that gap between second and right, and the Mean Green have their first lead of the game.
Now batting for the Mean Green. Freshman shortstop number 9, Sierra.
Cobb swinging on a first pitch has singled twice in this ball game. 17 RBIs now to this total after plopping that one into right field, and it allows Sierra Simon to step in with the bases juiced. Still 2 down in the inning. There has been 2 down since Rainey stepped in. But an RBI double and then back-to-back walks, and then that first pitch single to right from Cobb keeps the inning alive. That one down the left field line, but a foul ball as it goes just to the left of the bag. Thought for a second there it might have hopped over the bag, which in that case would be a fair ball, but called foul from the home plate umpire, Kaylee Young. And it's a strike on the board to Simon.
First time Sierra Simon has been up with the bases loaded this season.
That's an interesting stat, seeing that she's in the 2-hole. You would think that would happen every now and again. Of course, not often for a 2-hole hitter. Huge opportunity here. She takes that one for strike 2. Great pitch from Bridges.
255 is Simon with runners in scoring position.
Two on its way. Just misses outside, and the count again full to Sierra Simon. Runners again going on the pitch. Pitch number 83 on the way from the Geyer product. And now this one's driven high in the air, deep in the left field. It'll hang up for out number 3. North Texas leaves the bases loaded. However, they take a 2-1 advantage. An RBI double from Taylor Evans down the left field line opens the scoring. And then Lexi Cobb knocks in the go-ahead run later in the frame. North Texas leading by 1 as we head to the 5th.
Green 2, and Tarleton State, the Texans 1.
PTI, I need the PDF, COB, AKA EOD. What's the ETA?
ASAP, FYI. See my IM?
TLDR.
What?
Too long, didn't read.
We don't need any more acronyms, but we could all use more ways to save.
DMX, YOLO!
I want ice cream.
Seriously?
I'm gonna drive to get my ice cream.
No, you're not. Play with this.
No, I'm driving.
Really? Drinking and driving? How old are you?
I'm a big boy.
Let's go again. One more.
One more?
Want more?
Two to 1 our score as we head to the 5th inning from Lovelace Stadium. Good contingency of Texans in the stands on the road. And Tarleton at one point held a 1-0 lead after the home run from Pruitt in the 4th. However, North Texas answered right back. And outside of the 4th inning, it's been a pitcher's duel between Bridges and Peters. Those two kind of trading outings to this point.
Yeah, 1 through 3 was very much a pitcher's duel before the offense came alive just a little bit in that 4th inning. Of course, 1 run for Tarleton, 2 for North Texas, and some very good pitcher versus batter individual duels in the bottom of that 4th inning. North Texas able to get the better of Tarleton a couple times to take the lead, but a good game so far, both pitching and from an offensive standpoint.
Still a long way to go. First pitch swinging from Medford, trying to beat it out, but a nice play by Donahoe retires the leadoff hitter for out number 1. Alongside Zach Babb, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us here on this Wednesday evening from Denton. Tarleton out of the WAC, 12-9 record so far. They were picked to finish 4th in their division. They have since completely flipped that on their head and really become a contender in the Western Athletic Conference. North Texas, on the other hand, not picked to win Conference USA, though they have had back-to-back regular season titles, both in 2019 and 21. But they are very much so in the driver's seat, but Louisiana Tech is right on their heels after a great weekend from the Lady Texters, who have all of a sudden gotten hot over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Lady Texters were able to take a couple of games from that 3-game series against the Mean Green, 9-3 and 6-5 on April 15th and 16th, respectively. So North Texas, while in the driver's seat, there's a big Lady Texture in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, they swept UAB after taking 2 of 3 from North Texas, so they're only 1 game back from the Mean Green, who, by the way, face UAB this weekend in what will be a crucial series out in Birmingham. They'll start that one on the 29th, 6 p.m., so a couple days from now on Friday. They'll face the Blazers in what will be a crucial series in deciding the Conference USA West and seeding in the Conference USA tournament. Lofted fly ball into right. Capel finds her way aboard with a 2-out single. Her first base hit of the ball game, and that brings up Paige Nunez.
It's kind of a soft floater that time, swinging at a pitch down low, and a great effort that time by Smith, just unable to kind of find her bearings as that ball was hit just right over her head. Great effort, but a good 2-out single there for Tarleton.
Skylar Savage warming in the pen. We mentioned it earlier. Just 2 arms for Coach Rodney DeLong, and a lot of times they'll split the workload between Ashley Peters and Savage. Peters delivers this one right field, and it's snagged on the run from Molly Rainey, saving what would have been an extra base hit from Paige Nunez, quite possibly tying the game for the Tarleton Texans. Instead, it's out number 3, and North Texas will have a chance to add to their 2-1 advantage. Rainey on the run. We're going to the bottom of the 5th in Denton.
Meet Renee, bank manager and mother. But when she gets on her bike, she becomes Rebel Renee. Rebel Renee isn't about greasing some palms to get things done. And she rides with Geico because she'd never rebel against great service. Geico, savings and service for both your sides.
I want ice cream.
Seriously?
I'm gonna drive to get my ice cream.
No, you're not. Play with this.
No, I'm driving.
Really? Drinking and driving? How old are you?
I'm a big boy.
The BK $5 Your Way meal is here to make your choice easy and so tasty. Go straight to the Double Whopper Jr. with piping hot small fries, 4-piece crispy nuggets, and a refreshing small drink. Can you believe you get all this for only $5? The $5 Your Way meal, only at Burger King.
Taking a look at the WAC standings, there you see Tarleton on the right-hand side of your screen, and that's Southwest. Very much so in that third spot, but a chance to even elevate over ACU, a team that they swept just a couple weekends ago. That Stephen F. Austin Ball Club still playing some really good softball to this point.
Yeah, they're kind of the leaders in this whole thing right now, but Tarleton kind of creeping their way up the standings a little bit. Like you mentioned, that sweep over ACU definitely helped, and they're sitting in third right now.
North Texas hosting their conference tournament, as there have been some changes to the Conference USA Championship format. There you see lots of words, but basically they added a couple of games, wild cards for that. Then you've got some single elimination, and you've got some double elimination. A fun weekend on hand, May 11th through the 14th here from Denton, Texas, all of which, except for the championship game, will be on ESPN+. On to the bottom of the fifth inning we go. First pitch from Bridges misses outside. It's 3-4-5 due up in the North Texas order. Christensen followed by Gamble and then Donahoe. All three of which have really been limited to this point. Donahoe, the only base hit in 6 at-bats between the heart of this North Texas order the first 2 times around against Bridges. Christensen, just a sophomore in her 40th game of the season. 333 from the plate. And that one catches the outside corner for a strike. Bridges has been peppering the outside to these right-handed hitters all day long, and that time it pays off as Christensen has to chase. And there's the first down.
Second strikeout of the day that Christensen's been the victim of, and just caught reaching for that one a little bit. And just like that, you've got 5 Ks on the day for Bridges.
That outside corner has been rewarded to pitchers throughout. It's been even to both sides as Gamble puts a good swing on this, but sends it into the bullpen to the right-hand side. But you'd have to think at some point it gets into the head of these hitters that anything on the outside half of the plate or even further than that is very much so in play. You have to take a cut at it, and that time it paid off for Tristan Bridges. Christensen sent down on strikes. Gamble called out on strikes. She's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts and a 14-game hitting streak on the line as she steps in for this one.
See Bridges there just continuing to work that outside. Doesn't matter what side of the plate the batter's on. Bridges just really wanting to work that outside corner.
It's worked so far to this point. Really took until the 4th as there's a diving effort from Medford, but not enough to keep it in the infield. It's an infield single for Gamble. And it's now 15 straight games with a base knock.
The hitting streak continues on, and that was an excellent effort by the shortstop Medford to dive out. Just got a piece of it off her glove. Just unfortunately couldn't make that play. Instead, it's a base hit, and the hitting streak continues.
Every game in the month of April, Kaylee Gamble has had a base hit. A phenomenal streak inside Conference USA, and it'll at least continue into the weekend series on the road in Birmingham. Also puts a runner on with just 1 down for Celine Donahoe at the plate. Donahoe skies this one to the left-hand side. In comes the left fielder. And there's out number 2. Couple of fly balls lately for this North Texas lineup. They've been getting good bat on the ball for Bridges, but 2 down and 1 on for Molly Rainey stepping in for her 3rd at-bat. Rainey, who has a .315 batting average on the season, is actually much better with runners on base. than at any other point in her season so far. Nearly a 400 batting average, go along with 22 RBIs. Takes that one on the inside for ball 2. The senior Taylor Evans awaits on deck. The DP who had an RBI double in her last trip to the plate. And now Bridges well behind in the count. The junior left-hander out of Denton. Grew up right down the road, has really battled to this point. Now she battles back into the count to make it 3-1. That one lofted in the air, left side, in play for Medford. And the inning is over. A one-out single from Kaylee Gamble keeps the hitting streak alive, but that's it for North Texas in the 5th. The Texans will send the bottom half of the lineup due up, down by 1 on the
PTI. I need the PDF, COB, AKA EOD. What's the ETA?
ASAP, FYI. See my IM?
TLDR.
What?
Too long. Didn't read.
We don't need any more acronyms, but we could all use more ways to save.
PNX, YOLO!
I want ice cream.
Seriously?
I'm gonna drive to get my ice cream.
No, you're not. Play with this.
No, I'm driving.
Really? Drinking and driving? How old are you?
I'm a big boy.
We're scientists, we're engineers, we dance, but not so well. Windows 11 makes things easier. One of the biggest features I use is multiple desktops. I go from being a student to being a gamer. Being a mentor is one of the biggest dreams we have, and Windows 11 helps us do it.
North Texas up by 1, and the strikeouts have played an early factor in this one. Ashley Peters working a total of 6 strikeouts to her total. And then on the other side, it's been Tristan Bridges with 5 strikeouts. Both teams have had the swings and misses to this point. And there's the starting pitcher comparison, which at the moment might be upended because Skylar Savage will be in the circle for North Texas. But Ashley Peters, what an outing she's had, and a rebound outing after giving up multiple runs in 4 of her 5 last starts.
Yeah, great rebound for her. 6 strikeouts, just that 1 run allowed on 4 hits. And now with Skylar Savage coming into the circle, that'll end Peters' day, but a successful day it was.
Savage entering with an 11-6 record, 121 innings pitched on her total. 106 strikeouts, just the 35 walks. Much like Ashley Peters, that strikeout to walk ratio exceptionally high for the freshman. And she steps in with a chance to go for these final 2 innings of work. The Texans down to their final 6 outs. And it'll be 5, 6, 7 in the order. Jermaine, Troll, and then Pruitt for Tarleton, down by 1. First pitch on the way from Savage, and she likes to light up the radar gun. You go from about the mid-60s, low 60s of Ashley Peters with a bit of a changeup and a drop ball, and then you've got Savage getting up near the 70s in her pitching style.
That's a different thing when you have to try and adjust for that change in speed, and that's what makes or part of what makes Savage so dangerous is just her ability to throw the ball hard.
It is a nice 1-2 punch for Coach DeLong to have at his disposal. Head coaches would like to have more than just the 1-2 punch and not be limited to that. They would like to have an arsenal of arms to throw throughout a week, but North Texas only has the 2 with Savage and Peters, and they have definitely made do with 27 wins on the campaign. This game being the first to 28 will come out on top here. 2-1 on the way right down the middle, and it's back to even against Germain. 0 for 2 days so far for her. She did reach back in the second inning off a drop third strike after Peters opened up the ball game with 5 straight strikeouts. Savage would love to echo that and start things off with 5 straight strikeouts of her own outing. I'm going to take her all the way up to the final out. .110 hits against this season. 4 saves for Savage, and this would be a save opportunity should she go up until the end. .288 earned run average. Leadoff hitters hitting .303 against. Here's the 3-2. That one hit hard on the ground, but it's straight to Smith, who easily makes the play in the throw to first for the first down.
A little bit of a battle in that at-bat, but Savage able to come away victorious. That swing just went right to Smith, so an easy catch and throw to retire the first batter.
4 hits for the Texans so far. They got 4 of the first 6 hits in the ball game. For North Texas caught back up as the lineup woke up the second time through the order. Tough play for Simon coming back behind the circle on the run, but fields it cleanly, gets a great exchange here for the second out.
Yeah, that's the second time Simon's made a play like that in this game, just charging over, picking it up on the run, throwing on the run, and completing the out.
Textbook from the shortstop. Made it look easy. That is not an easy exchange, and to do it so cleanly and effortlessly at the same time is pretty impressive. Here's Pruitt, who homered her last time up. Only run on the board for the Texans so far. 2 for 2 day for her to this point. She went to the opposite field over the wall back in the 4th inning. Molly Rainey was the one chasing after it, but couldn't get there. The 0-1 misses outside. Pruitt now second on the team in homers, behind only Georgia Capel. It was her 7th of the year and her 12th RBI to this point as well. More than half of her RBIs have come off of the long ball. Here's the 1-1. Should Pruitt reach, Mackenzie Peterson awaits on deck, a literal ball magnet here in her outing so far. She is 0 for 0 with 2 hit by pitches on her night. Both of which came on the first pitch of the at-bat. Big swing from Pruitt, and there's 2 strikes. Tarleton dealing without 2 of their top hitters in the middle of the order, the 4 and 5 hole hitters that have kind of been interchangeable for the Texans this season. Schaefer and Rowland both out with injuries. Pruitt has done a nice job filling in, had the homer earlier, fouls that one off to stay alive. But in her first at bat against Savage, Skylar Savage has had the advantage so far, trying to put her away. Here's the 2-2. Hard hit, left side, chopper gloved by Donahoe, and the throw over to first is there. It's a perfect inning. Back-to-back-to-back ground outs forced by Skylar Savage, and the Texans are down to their final 3 outs. Taylor Evans, who had an RBI double her last time up, leads things off for the Mean Green when we return.
Meet Renee, bank manager and mother. But when she gets on her bike, she becomes Rebel Renee. Rebel Renee isn't about greasing some palms to get things done. And she rides with Geico because she'd never rebel against great service. Geico, savings and service for both your sides.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
Check out this verbo. Come on. Now I'm here. Now you're here. Can't go on 'cause I am right where I belong.
Things getting tight in the Conference USA West. North Texas still on top at the moment. However, La Tech right on their heels. That is a Lady Texters team that was under 500 a year ago, and now playing exceptionally good softball down the stretch, has closed the gap to North Texas, who was thought to be the favorite in that division after really getting off to a hot start themselves.
Yeah, and they've kind of surprised a lot of people. Again, you mentioned had a losing record last season, but then they got those wins over North Texas. Took 2 or 3 from them in that series, and it's put them right on their heels.
Taylor Evans, followed by Michaela Smith and Ashlyn Walker to lead things off for Coach DeLong, trying to stretch out their advantage, leading by 1 here in the bottom of the 6th, and it's 7, 8, 9 in the order. First pitch to Evans, misses outside for ball 1. Tristan Bridges back out for her 6th inning of work, and Evans had the RBI double that put North Texas on the board back in that 4th inning. Started the scoring after Tarleton took a 1-0 advantage. Also worked a walk back in the 2nd inning. Two teams at the moment combining for a 1-6 batting clip with runners in scoring position, but that 1 hit is all that North Texas needed to build an advantage. There's a pop fly into foul ground. In charges Peterson and comes up just a tad short on the diving effort.
Went all out to try and make the catch there, just couldn't catch up to that foul ball. She's still in a little bit of pain after that dive.
Yeah, glad to see her back up, as that could have been disastrous in the corner. Didn't make contact with anything, but it was definitely an awkward dive at the last second to try and make the play. Gotta love the effort. Evans ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. The walks have been relatively subdued for Bridges. Just 4 walks to her total so far, and the only time it really came back to bite the junior was back in the 4th. And a leadoff walk issued to Evans here, puts a runner on to start the frame for the Mean Green. Michaela Smith will step in. New runner over at first base as Emma Grumman will run as the freshman takes over at first for Evans. Evans, the DP.
Number 4, Michaela Smith.
Grumman has some speed to her arsenal as well. We'll see what Michaela Smith can do. She also worked a walk back in the 4th. Corners in for the Texans. Bunt laid down, throw to first, that in time. It actually caroms off of Michaela Smith. On the third goes Grumman, and it's runners at the corners now. They're actually going to call Michaela Smith out, and they're going to make Taylor Evans go back to second base, saying that, or Emma Grumman back to second base. They're going to say she was in the baseline, which is actually the right call. Now it's looking at that replay.
Yeah, kind of a confusing play there, but you can see the umpire immediately signaling she was in the base path and the correct call on the field. So that's going to move Grumman all the way back to first. And we'll keep it here a 2-1 game.
So the base runner interference paying dividends for the Texans. All the way back to first goes Grumman, the pinch runner for Evans. And then Smith called out inside the baseline. So one down, runner at first, and Ashlyn Walker steps in. It was the right call from this umpire crew. Just took some time to sort through it. 1-0. Hit off the handle and foul. One for one day so far for Ashlyn Walker. Had a base hit back in the 3rd and a walk in the 4th. .266 batting average, which happens to be the same batting average as she has with runners on. 1-1 misses well outside. Lexi Cobb on deck. She's 2 for 2 so far with an RBI in the ball game. Walker again puts a good swing on it, but fouls it off. Walker with a couple of base hits against Kansas in the series opener in Lawrence. Also had a couple of base hits against La Tech. Dribbles this one down the 3rd base line. Nice play by Jermaine. On the second goes Grumman, and there's 2 down.
Smart play that time by Jermaine with the speed of Grumman at first. You know, you're not going to get her heading over to the second, especially on a ball that was hit kind of softly down the 3rd base line. So a good decision by Jermaine just to take the play at first, and they've got 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th.
Works almost as a sacrifice as Cobb now steps in again with a runner in scoring position. She has 400 on the season with runners at second or third. She also 323 with 2 outs. Looking for RBI number 18 on the season. Already has 1 in the ball game and a 2 for 2 effort. Both of her base hits, Zach, came with the first pitch in the at-bat. Now she doesn't have an opportunity to do that, but she's ahead in the count either way. Takes that one inside, ball 3. You'd think she'd be happy with a walk here as well.
Got the power coming up in the lineup. He'll take 2 on with 2 outs.
3-0 on its way. Taking all the way for strike 1. Seen that a couple of times. Coach DeLong very adamant about letting his hitters make the decisions, giving them the green light and allowing them to play with confidence. It's interesting, every time a North Texas hitter has a 3-0 count to work with. And on 3-1, she tosses the bat aside, but she'll have to make her way back in the box at a full count.
Yeah, Cobb immediately thought that was a walk and tossed the bat away right as the strike call came in. A little bit of disbelief on her face there.
Big pitch on the way for Bridges to try and keep this a 1-run ball game. Hard hit ball to third, gloved by Jermaine, and the inning is over. Couple ground outs to the left side of the infield and a runner's interference in the inning for North Texas. Last chance for the Texans when we come back.
I love my new home, but it might be too Victorian.
Gosh, interesting hemline on those pants.
At least Geico makes bundling my home and car insurance easy. I save so much.
Pardon me, Your Grace.
Oh, just call me Grace.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
I want ice cream.
Seriously?
I'm gonna drive to get my ice cream.
No, you're not. Play with this.
No, I'm driving.
Really? Drinking and driving? How old are you?
I'm a big boy.
The BK $5 Your Way meal is here to make your choice easy and so tasty. Go straight to the Double Whopper Jr. with piping hot small fries, 4-piece crispy nuggets, and a refreshing small drink. Can you believe you get all this for only $5? The $5 Your Way meal, only at Burger King.
On to the final inning of play. North Texas leading by 1. And the freshman Skylar Savage looking for her 5th save of the 2022 campaign. And her last one came in a midweek matchup against a WAC team clad in purple and gray. It was against Stephen F. Austin back on April 12th, where she went 2 innings, had a strikeout, and closed out a 6-1 win for the Mean Green. And this one very much so right in that same category. However, just a 1-run advantage to work with as she goes into that final half inning.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see here what Tarleton can do with Savage. Is again, with the pitching change coming so late, you haven't really had a chance to see her go through the lineup at all. So take just to get a base runner and then go from there if you're Tarleton.
Only 14 pitches is all she needed to get through the 6th inning of play. Back-to-back ground outs. And she faces Mackenzie Peterson here, who is still looking for her first official at-bat. She's been hit by a pitch twice in this one. And it's St. Tignan, followed by Medford, back to the top of the order. 8-9-1 for the Texans, who need a run here, and a big swing and a miss evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Hard fastball that time from Savage, just struggling to catch up to it that time was Peterson.
Peterson hitting just 133 on the season, the transfer into Tarleton. 1-1 misses outside. Peterson, who started her career with New Mexico, played 21 games as a true freshman in 2019, and then already made an impact back as a sophomore with 47 games played in Tarleton's first Division I season last year. Soft dribbler straight up the middle. Smith gloves it and throws on to first. One down.
Michaela Smith to Kaylee Gamble, out number 1.
Excellent effort that time by Smith to make that play. Kind of had to approach that grounder from an awkward angle, but able to pick it up and throw it on to first for the first out.
It was really throwing hand side on the ground ball. Had to come around it to make the play cleanly, but did so with ease. First pitch on the way, misses low. Michaela Romeo, the sophomore, pinch hitting for St. Tignan. Romeo in need of a base hit to really get this inning going for the top of the Texans' order if they want to get back in it. One. This is up and out. Romeo, a transfer from Loyola Marymount. Came in during that COVID-19 season. Hasn't seen a ton of action this season. Just 9 total at bats. However, she has 4 base hits and a couple RBIs. 444 batting average, and might see an uptick. Barehanded play over the first. Donahoe guns down what would have been an infield single.
Big sigh of relief on the face of Kaylee Gamble over at first that they got that out, but there's the swing of the batter off the bat. Hit Savage. Excellent barehanded play over at third from Donahoe and gets it over to first in time.
Officially a 1-5-3 putout. Donahoe crashing in from third base, making the barehanded stop, and a perfect throw to nail the runner for out number 2. North Texas a chance to close out the game against Morgan Medford here. 1 for 3 on her outing. She had a strikeout in the first, a single in the third. And this is her first at-bat against Skylar Savage. Big swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. North Texas, 3-game series on the docket this weekend on the road at UAB out in Birmingham, Alabama. Tarleton has a doubleheader on Friday at home against Lamar. Then they'll close out their WAC season slate on Saturday. 0-2 on the way. Well outside, and we'll do it again. Medford stays alive for one more pitch. Tarleton struck first. A solo blast from Miranda Pruitt, her 7th. Then the Mean Green with 2 unanswered in the bottom half of the 4th to put them up by 1. 1-2 on the way, swung on and missed. 5th save of the season for Skylar Savage. Win number 28 for Rodney DeLong's North Texas Mean Green. And they take down Tarleton 2-1 here on a Wednesday night.
It's an excellent game all around by the Mean Green, especially from a pitching perspective. You get the strong start from Ashley Peters. Skylar Savage comes in and closes the door on the Mean Green. Have win number 28 on the year.
Savage retired all 6 batters that she faced. 5 of 6 were groundouts, and the final was a strikeout of Morgan Medford. But North Texas comes out on top in this one. An RBI double from Taylor Evans started the scoring for the Mean Green in the 4th, and Lexi Cobb with the go-ahead RBI single wins it for the Mean Green. That's going to do it for us here from Lovelace Stadium. For Daniel Zofel, Zach Babb, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long. Once again, the final score, North Texas wins it 2-1 on ESPN.